This story opens with a boy named Phantom Hive running to get into the school. He barely made it on time. Now he was standing before his dream school, Weston College, with special circumstances and boarding houses for only boys. Weston College had great values for its discipline and traditionary morals. Royals were seekers to send their sons to this school to get the status it provides. Our man was worried about his first impression, and suddenly he placed his foot on the lawn, and everyone made it a big deal and started whispering about him. He asked what happened, and the perfect four came. Edgar grabbed him from his tie and said it was crooked. Herman asked him if he was a newcomer, and he said yes. Lawrence told him the rule that only the perfect four and the one permitted by the four could cross the lawn, so he had to memorize the rules, and Phantom Hive said okay. Gregory told them to leave, and they left. Edgar said a warm goodbye to him, and Macmillan came to Phantom Hive, gave him his hat, and said he was also a newcomer like him in the same class. Now they started walking, and Macmillan told him about the perfect four and that they had the option to select the fabric and color of their waistcoats. He also told them that all of them were the heads of each boarding house: Scarlet Fox, Sapphire Owl, Green Lion, and Violet Wolf, P4 for short. Phantom Hive asked why they didn't cross the garden, and Macmillan said it was a tradition. Suddenly he remembered about his class and started running. Now they were talking in the class, and suddenly Clayton came. Macmillan told him to hurry, and Clayton punished him to clean the shoe of Perfect, and he'd throw a welcoming party for him. Now after completing his task, when he went to his house, he got a shocking welcome, and they started tossing him because according to them it was a tradition there. Phantom Hive was shocked. Suddenly Michaelis came and saved our little man. He asked if he was fine, and Phantom Hive said he'd be if he had saved him sooner. Michaelis apologized for his missed convenience, and now Phantom Hive was in front of Johann Lower, principal of the school. He asked if it was a good day for him, and all the perfect four were also there and asked him the same question. They also wanted him to join their house, but it was the principal's decision who wasn't there. So, Johann was handling the situation. He was coming down for his sign but fell and got the signature on the admission form. They welcomed him, and when they were about to leave, he stopped them and asked how to meet the principal, but they said the principal never met the ordinary people. Only the perfect four were allowed to meet him. In this school, all the students were devoted to their studies, and they had the busiest schedule. While eating breakfast, Macmillan told Phantom Hive about the tradition that the junior boy serves a senior boy with all of his demands, like cleaning and stuff like that. Clayton serves Lawrence, and he is the man of Sapphire Owl. Macmillan said only the servants had the same protocol as the perfect four had. Only they could meet with the principal along with the perfect four, and Phantom Hive changed the topic because it was exhausting. He asked about a boy named Edward, and everyone started whispering about him because it was their tradition to avoid contact or any familiarity with other house students, because the houses had a complex between them. Macmillan told him about Erden and suddenly called for the work, and he left. Suddenly Clayton came and told Phantom Hive to clean the dining room, and he was shocked to see such a huge room but had to clean it. But he removed his eye patch and summoned Michaelis and told him to clean it because he wanted to check Edward, and went to the Violet house. He was walking and suddenly felt everyone staring at him, and Cheslek came and told him to leave. Everyone was saying the same thing and started throwing stones at him. He ran away, and Gregory came and asked what happened, and he saw Phantom Hive. He went back and was in a terrible condition. He was thinking about the traditions and the rules of this house when he saw a gathering and was shocked. Suddenly Clayton came to him and started praising his work. He was shocked, and he showed him the dining room, which was very neat and clean. Michaelis came and he was happy to see it. Phantom Hive thought that by doing so he could win the heart of Clayton, so he told him to ask anything. Now at night he was reading the letter of his mother in which she had told him about his cousin Edward and asked him to find him. He had not come home for a long time and had not met with his parents, so they were worried about him. Suddenly Michaelis came and they started talking about how they made the plan to get into the school because he had to do this job in person, and Michaelis was his butler, so he bowed his head. In the Weston school, because the traditions had high values and the relation between the house's head and their brotherhood butlers made a huge problem for our man's investigations. In this school, everyone had their duties accordingly, but the master had a great performance because he had to teach the students, guide them, and even at night if someone wanted help, he had to help him. It was a demanding job, but Phantom Hive made it more difficult by ordering him to do the stuff of Clayton. Michaelis started doing so, and he made a very good performance in that too. Now Phantom Hive was talking with Macmillan, and he was surprised that Phantom Hive was doing all the difficult stuff in no time. Macmillan said he might get the job with Clayton one day. Phantom Hive was excited about that because it'd be a great move in his research. Now in the lawn the perfect four were sitting, and Cole was serving Edgar, and Herman complimented Phantom Hive, and everyone started talking about him. Gregory said Phantom Hive visited his house, and Clayton was surprised because, at the same time, he had to clean the dining room. Everyone was surprised with his abilities, and Edward asked Herman to talk, and when he got permission, he started talking about Phantom Hive. They were cousins, and he said Phantom Hive was a brilliant person and Edward was the one Phantom Hive was looking for. Everyone was happy to hear such words from our man, and they decided to call him at 2 p.m. Cole asked to invite him, and Edgar permitted him. In the class, a boy ran to Phantom Hive and he was very excited because he had talked with Cole because of him, and Phantom Hive went to talk with Cole. Cole told him about the invitation and said he had to be on time. At 4 p.m., our man got excited, and when Cole left, everyone surrounded Phantom Hive because Cole was the most beautiful boy in the school. At night, Michaelis was helping the students and suddenly his master came in. Phantom Hive told him about the invitation and said it was their golden chance, and Michaelis suggested he win their hearts with the sweats he'd made for them tomorrow, and they decided on all the thongs. Suddenly another student came. They got their positions back when the next day he visited them, and Clayton yelled because he was 2 hours late. He tried to tell them that Cole told him to come at 4 p.m. but they didn't believe him, and everyone was disappointed in him. At night he was very angry and Michaelis asked about his next move. Phantom Hive told him that Cole had to pay a big price for that and said lying would be his great habit and he had to pay for it. Furthermore, Cole's hands were very soft, which means if he was doing all this stuff for his master then it wasn't possible, so Phantom Hive ordered Michaelis to keep a strong eye on Cole and investigate him. In the class, everyone was whispering about Phantom Hive and it was depressing. On the other side, Cole got some data from 2 boys and Michaelis was peeking. Cole went to Edgar and gave the data and said he collected it, which was a lie. He asked for the tea and Edgar asked for a special type of dessert. Cole was happy and Phantom Hive was keeping an eye, and when he served Edgar, Michaelis was there. Joanne was in the library and Michaelis helped him. Michaelis asked if he was depressed, then they could talk, and Joanne started telling him about Cole. He said Cole always asked him for tasks like the collection of data and theoretical stuff. In return, he offered to give him a job, but when he got the invitation it disappeared, and everyone made fun of him. He was very depressed and Michaelis tried to cheer him up. Phantom Hive got the investigations that Cole did his job by making other students. Now they wanted someone who could get into Edgar's house and keep an eye on Cole, but when they thought about that person it was Phantom Hive, all in vain because he had refused it. At night Macmillan came to Phantom Hive and asked to sleep with him. He allowed him, and they started talking. Phantom Hive told him about the lie of time and Macmillan said he had heard the time and Phantom Hive was right, and even Macmillan would ask others for his sake, and our man got happy to hear that. Now the next day, a rich student named Sum was entering the school on an elephant and everyone was staring at him. But he was summoned by our hero to keep an eye on Cole. But he started calling Phantom Hive and our man started walking away, but he suddenly captured him, and they started talking. Phantom Hive told him to be quiet about their relationship and he had to do this job silently because our man had only one friend, and Soma got emotional. But Soma was a big fool and he asked Cole to be friends with Natam Hive. Cole was disturbed because of him because he was irritating him everywhere. At night Soma went to ride his elephant and it got scared and ran into Cole's room. It got ruined and Edgar prohibited him from using it again and asked Cole to use his bed for tonight. But Soma said Cole could sleep with him because he was responsible, and Edgar agreed, but Cole was angry. Now they went to his room, and they slept. But suddenly Cole stood up and started walking. Soma was following him, and he started placing some cards in the post office. When the next day he went to talk with Phantom Hive, he was surprised to see Michaelis, and when they talked Soma told him about the cards and the information he had collected. It was great help by his side and Phantom Hive thanked him, and he left. Phantom Hive ordered Michaelis to complete the investigations and they would dispose of Cole tomorrow. Now Cole and Phantom Hive were together, and our man started talking. He started asking him about his lie and the things he was doing with other boys. But Cole refused to accept everything and asked for proof, and our man showed him the cards and Cole was shocked, and our man said he had collected them with great effort. Because it was collected from the garbage, Michaelis made a great effort in it. Our man asked him to be honest with Edgar, but he summoned his friends. Cole was brutal and his boys held our man, and he burned the cards, and Cole said he'd teach him a lesson by clicking shameless pictures of him. But suddenly Herman and his butler came, and they started helping him. Cole tried to apologize, but the other two were also there. Cole asked how this was possible, and we told him about the pathway of vibrations and what he had done with the paintings there. Edgar was also listening to everything, and he said Cole was a shame for him. Last but not least, our man gave him the last surprise of the day. His real-faced picture complimented his makeup skills. Everyone complimented him, and our man succeeded. Now time for a reward, and Clayton asked him to be his servant and he accepted it because it was what he wanted. Subscribe to our channel for the latest updates.